We're on? Oh, there we go, we're on. Okay, well, we're already open, so minutes of the previous meeting, regular council meeting. Moved by Councillor Dirksen, second by Councillor Anderson, the minutes of the March 3rd, 2015 council meeting be approved. All in favor? Carried. Additional items, let's dispose of other business. Anybody got additional items?
No, I don't think so.
No? No, that's it?
Just one quick one.
Okay, one quick one. Quick one.
Be all of 30 seconds,
Okay, all right.
maybe one.
Resolution moving council and committee of the whole to consider public meetings, delegations, public question period, correspondence reports, motions with which notice has been previously given, other business. Moved by Deputy Mayor Faulkner and second by Councillor Caldwell, the town of Minto Council convenes in the committee of the whole. All in favor? Carried. And public meeting none. Delegations. Jeff, if you'd like to come up with, and Steve, this is our insurance. Bring in some good news.
Just make sure their mics are on.
Yeah, just make sure your mics are on.
You have to use them to green light almost.
Yep.
Into them.
First
Yeah.
of all, thanks for having us out. You all know Jeff, and there's a couple items that I'd like to see you take advantage of it. And it's with the program that they do offer. It's a risk system. Jeff will explain a little more about it. And driver training seminars, and he'll talk about that also. But right now, Jeff's going to go through the highlights of the JLT product, and if you have any questions, he's here to address them.
Steve?
Your Worship, thank you for having me. First of all, at JLT, we truly do appreciate your business and our working relationship with Stephen and Bill is usually who we're dealing with. So what I'd like to do is, I believe you have the proposal that was presented. So I'm just going to quickly go through. I won't go through it all line by line. We'll be here all night. And then just address some of the options that are available that maybe haven't been taken advantage of yet. So we'd like very much for you to take part of it. So we start with basically the liability starting on page 4 of 17. JLT does it a little differently than everybody else. We basically have two separate policies, so to speak. It's all one umbrella, but the first primary coverage of $5 million and the liability is covered under one policy, and then the additional 20 is covered under another policy. The reason we do that is the majority of the claims, not all the claims, but a good portion of the claims within all of our municipal clients fall under the primary policy. So if there's any claims experience, those claims experience affect the primary policy and not the whole thing. So in the long run, it's better for premiums going forward. So the premiums, in a lot of the cases, would only be affected in the first primary policy. The secondary policy of extension is 20 million. So you have a total of 25 million. Oh, sorry.
Can I just ask a question for you, Mayor Bridge? So if we were sued or were asked for 15 million, say for example.
If the awards were 15 million.
Correct. Would we have that availability the way that it's broken out here?
Correct, yes.
We would, okay.
You have the 25 million umbrella coverage. Okay, it's just the way JLT does it. So your concern is you basically are covered for 25. Okay?
Thank you.
And then if we look at the property on page 8 of 17, we have a blanket value of $74,165,542. And with the JLT program, it is a true replacement cost in our eyes. So the value that you see there is basically primarily for us coming up with a premium to charge you. So if we have a building, let's say this building, and I don't know what this building's worth. This building's worth $1 million. No idea what it's worth. And that blows down, and it's a complete loss, and it costs $1.3 million. We're going to pay $1.3 million replace this building. So just because the property schedule may say it's $1 million, that is just what we've assessed that. One of the things we do at JLT is that we do inflate the property values on an annual basis, not because of inflation, but because the inflation rate of construction costs, not the rate of inflation. Construction costs continue to rise and continue to rise where inflation is 2-3% construction costs seem to go up. So our underwriters basically force our hand to inflate the property schedule, so we do that on an annual basis. Slip over to, I guess it covers you comprehensive crime.
Oh,
The
sorry, Jeff,
automobile-
through you, Mayor
Sorry.
Bridge, the term parade unit, just
I'm sorry,
clarify
what page
that. Page 8. Right at the top. I'm sorry?
The old fire trucks.
Parade units?
Oh, okay. So it is what it says. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I understood that.
And for the automobile, there's liability, bodily injury and property damage of $5 million. The accident benefits are stated in the policy. Now, keeping in mind, these are for the automobile insurance. That's for your licensed vehicles. Your unlicensed, per se, I don't know if there's any gators, road graders, and all that sort of stuff would be covered under the property schedule. The counselor's accident on page 14. It's a majority of it is an accident. There is a heart attack coverage for counselors, up to $250,000 of principal sum. Covers you while you're on duty, and it also covers you while you're off duty as well. So there's a 24-hour coverage that extends to that. And that's through AIG, which is very similar to the firefighters accident program. And I'll touch briefly on it. Page 15, the municipal volunteers accident coverage. This is a policy that covers all of your volunteers that are working on behalf of the municipality. So it could be Communities of Bloom, I don't know what other volunteers that you would have working in your parks or whatever the case
Oregon
may be.
Theater.
Oregon Theater.
Yeah, so they would be covered, so there's a death benefit component, there's a small disability component into it, so it's just to help out the volunteers for that, so. Would be a good idea to keep a rough idea of who your volunteers are. I'm sure you probably do.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
So a rough idea, so if we had a volunteer and he wasn't on our list, we'd still cover that volunteer?
Yeah, because the onus, in the reason I say that, the onus is on the municipality, whether Bill or your worship, to say, yes, Jimmy was working on behalf of the municipality.
Yep.
It's just better housekeeping, so to speak. And people do fall through the cracks, forgot to add people, and it's okay. And we've had several claims through the AIG product, which is actually through VFIS, through the Volunteer Firefighting Program, and they're excellent to deal with as far as claims. I've been dealing with these people for 16 years.
Yeah.
And their claims experience, the way they handle claims is, if the CAO or the mayor says this person's a volunteer, the person's a volunteer.
Generally, like if you said it was a Lions Club, you probably wouldn't need a list because it'd be a part of the Lions Club that were doing work for the town.
Yeah, and
That would be they'd have a list of people.
And that opens up a very, very important can of worms where you assume that the lines are covered. Are they? So those are types of things, so if they're doing things within on your municipality. And I have run into it, not with the Lions Club, but with another group that you would have thought would have had insurance and didn't have insurance, and they're operating on municipal property. Not here.
So whose coverage would, if we had Lions coverage and we were doing something in the town and got injured, which Lions do a lot of stuff on the town, who takes the coverage? The Lions insurance or our
Well, if
insurance?
it's their person, it's probably have to be going towards the Lions. But as you know, in our joint and several liability world, everybody's gonna get named. But technically, it's the Lions coverage that should
should respond first.
And then if they don't have any, then it automatically goes back to the town? Or I could see this coming to be, like, the Norgan Theater is a perfect group. They clearly are volunteering for the town. The town is involved until such time as they pay off that debt, and then it might become a little muddier issue. But right now, the mortgage is held by the town, so they're
Right.
working for the town. It's clear. They're not working under any other auspices. They're there for the town. But if you had Lions or a horticultural society, or what happens?
That's why we need agreements in place. So you're working agreements, and I'm sure that they're, in most cases, are there.
We hope.
But there is something else that we are gonna talk about that could also help you as well.
So do we currently have a list of people that we assume are
Yep,
covered
we
by?
do.
Okay, all right.
I think, if I may, Mayor Birch, what I heard said was, we have a list, and if there's someone that isn't on the list, if the CAO or mayor say they're volunteering for the town, then they're covered.
We're talking person, not organizations.
Yeah, well, no, yeah, so-
But the Lions, if I may, the Lions Club installing a fountain or working on a fountain on behalf of the town
in the park.
as a volunteer,
Correct.
there would be our coverage and their coverage.
their
There'd be a
coverage,
decision
correct.
made as to who would cover what.
Yeah, it'd be up to the
Yeah.
courts to decide
Yeah.
who's gonna award what.
Right.
Unfortunately, when they do have awards, a lot of times we don't have any say of who's gonna pay what. It's up to the judge to.
And I think if you, well, go ahead, and if you want to ask a question, I think I know where this kind of is going.
I just, it's unrelated to this unless you were, but I see that it's people over 80 who volunteer are not covered for anything, because I know we have several people of over than 80 that are doing something for our town somewhere.
Correct, yeah. There is the,
That's just the rule.
that's just the rule, and that's coming from the insurer. That's got nothing to do with us. That's just the rules that.
So anybody over 80 really isn't insured for any liability or anything.
You're on the wrong-
No, not liability wise,
accident.
but for
Liability.
the accident.
Accident.
Yeah, we're
So if
talking the accident coverage that the
Fall and hurt
volunteers.
themselves, there's no accidents.
Yeah, yeah. Volunteers are automatically, no, depending on, doesn't matter what age, or volunteers within the municipality are covered under the umbrella.
All right, thanks.
I mean, that is, so to be clear, we're talking about that a volunteer at the Norgan is part of something and someone gets hurt at the Norgan, the municipality gets sued and they're named individually, they're covered under our liability insurance too. What we're talking about is simply accidents that
If
occur.
they get hurt,
to
if they
volunteers.
get hurt, as
I was kind of thinking two were in the same, but they're not.
So just to be clear, just because I volunteer at the Norgan, and I've questioned some of this stuff in the past too, it's an ideal situation. There's short hours, like on a weekend, but the student volunteers frequently come, so the group changes frequently.
right.
Your weekends cover, weekends are busier, we add people, we take away people. They do have a sign-in roster, but it's not very religiously filled out. Should we be doing a better job of keeping track of that?
Probably, yeah. You
Okay.
probably should, and I don't know how to better police that, but, normally if they're coming from the school, sometimes you do know, sometimes you don't know, I guess.
Well, we would, the team captain, but every weekend you're sort of arranging your team, and sometimes you're arranging it that weekend and things change, or you're asked to cover another weekend for another group, and if it's a team captain, you're covering the whole weekend, but we frequently, and then you have the kids who are going, we don't really need them, but it's a good exposure to volunteering, we can manage without them. They're students, they're looking for their hours, so we bring them on so that we can get their hours, and we hope we can get them interested enough in volunteering that they'll continue and do something else. But
Again, the onus would go back to.
Yeah, I think, Gene,
CEO.
in a case like that, I would say that try to get them to sign the sheet so you have them there, but if you vouch that they were there volunteering, and basically then I would vouch and
Correct.
go from there.
Yep,
I mean, it's,
and I don't see an issue with that.
no,
We have a weekly list. When they come in, they're supposed to sign
Yeah.
in, even if they've been there last week.
anyways,
Every movie they use is fine.
yeah, go ahead.
So with that, on page 16 of 17 is the risk system software that's included. It's a really great information system to use for documenting incoming claims, ongoing claims, and it can be set up that it goes right to department heads. So it can be in, and I'm not sure how claims are handled, if it comes to the front desk, if Mrs. Smith says there's a pothole, or there's a guy slipped and fell on such and such sidewalk. So that can all be documented within this system, and then it can be sent to the department heads who can look after it, and then that department head has to actually physically do something with the system or red flags. So you know whether either they're looking at it, they fixed it, it's been repaired, which is an excellent defense mechanism when it comes to a claim. And if I can just touch base with that, the majority of the claims that we have within municipalities, and I'm not talking about this one, is slips, trips, and falls are one of the highest claims that we have in frequency. Proper documentation at time of claim, when it happens, and who it's taken by, the time, and then how it's been handled is crucial. We're finding out in the field that the claims adjusters go and they're looking for what defense mechanisms the municipality has in place. They're not there. There's no documentation. Oh, we fixed it. When did you fix it? Oh, last Tuesday. Can you show me? It's those types of things. So this is a really good software for stuff like that. And it also gives you a database. If per se, the Parks and Rec Department wanted to look up what other municipalities are experiencing, per se, ball diamonds, they can punch it up and they can look at what other municipalities are having issues with and how they fix them. And then maybe they could implement that as far as their risk management system. So it's kind of a proactive system, but you're dealing with the municipalities that we have here in Canada and Australia. We're affiliated with Australia, so that database is there as well. The other one is an annual low risk policy that covers liability for all these smaller functions that don't necessarily require certificates of insurance for. They do require, but it might be a baby shower at a Clifford Cemetery or something like that. I'm not sure if there is a Clifford Cemetery.
Yep.
You're not really going to ask for a certificate of insurance for $5 million because you can't afford it. It's just so this annual policy, we look at all we would ask for a bit of data of what functions that you may have, and we come up with a premium that covers all these activities that are, we'll say, overlooked, so to speak, and that just protects the best interests of the municipalities. That would be something that I would recommend looking into. We can work with Bill on that and get you an idea of what it would cost to cover all these.
Mayor Bridge, if I may, I know the Recreation Committee has already gone down the road on the second part. You were talking about the blanket coverage for the smaller groups. So we will be coming to you through Matt in our Recreation Department, for you, Steve. So, and as far as the risk system, we are also moving into information management here this year. So with council's blessing, which we just received at budget, so this would be one option we'll look at in terms of documenting our claims. Right now, it's done through our front desk and stuff filters through our department heads, and it is paper-based primarily. So putting it in this and having a trigger to make sure the follow-up happens is probably a good thing.
That's key. Let's keep follow-up, sure. Perfect.
So what we've done with PRAC is we've added a little bit of cost to the actual rental so that it can be covered in that, so to be, give it easier, and we'll be able to work through the system. And that way you spread it out.
Perfect. Yep. No, that's good.
We realize that we should have more coverage in a lot of those situations.
I have a question for Jeff.
Sure.
This risk management system that you talked about, will there be somebody come up from the jail
Absolutely.
to show them how to implement it and work with it?
The gentleman's name is Jeff McIntosh, and he would come up and sit down with, however you want to do it, whether you just want to sit down with the CEOs and department heads.
Yep.
Or, sure, of course. And I think last is the driver training, and I believe Ken Little's been in contact with you, and I think we're waiting for the snow to go away.
Council all have to take that and pass? Driver training, does the council all have to take that and pass, Jeff?
Well, you know what, I should say that. I would recommend that all.
I didn't mean it.
I'm just suggesting, I would recommend that all staff,
Yes.
including your part-timers, your
Yep.
summer staff, I'm not sure if there is any.
Yep, no, for
That
sure.
little piece of paper to put in your file if something does happen, it all helps.
Yep.
For sure.
Mayor Bridge, I just wanted to say, council has a report summarizing the coverages, and when we went out to RFP a year ago, it was over a year ago, we wondered how it was going to work out. We had a new company that was successful, and I just wanted to say that I felt like it's worked really well, and there was all sorts of discussion about whether or not there'd be more paperwork or less paperwork or more, and it really has been, I would say, seamless. So we certainly appreciate that moving forward. So I think it was any reservations I might have had at the time have certainly melted away. So I think we have a good relationship with our new insurer, just
Glad to hear that.
like we did with our previous one. But and I think all three of those things that Jeff and Steve have brought forward would be wise for us to partake in. So.
Well, I'll pass your kind words on to the people in the office too. So we appreciate that, and we truly do appreciate your business, so.
I don't have any.
Anything for the?
Any further questions?
And I think you've answered all the questions. Thank you very much.
For the golf tournament?
Yes.
This year?
13th,
August.
of August. It's a Thursday.
Yeah, well, I need to.
All right.
For a gold sponsorship.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on that.
I heard that.
Anyways, great.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your worship.
We have a recommendation that the council receives the report dated March 12th, 2015 from the CEO clerk regarding the 2000 municipal insurance program. Hoover? Councilor Caldwell? Councilor Elliott? All in favor? Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Steve?
Oh, we can skip this next guy for time.
Sure.
Ron Faulkner, Chair of International Plowing Match Video.
Thanks
You
a
on
lot.
this video, Ron?
Thanks a lot, Rob.
I don't think so.
You're not done yet?
Okay, well, we'll go ahead. You want to go down there, or you?
No, I'll do it right from here.
Thank you.
Folks, this is a video that Khalees Forder put together, and we've presented it to the local Plowingmen's Association. We will be taking it to the convention at the end of March, and we're going to College Royal this weekend, as well as the Cornwall Convention at the end. And so please enjoy. This is for the IPM 2016 match, by the way.
it's causing
I think that's it. There must be a sunspot.
it is, there's sunspots out there that the internet's been down a couple times.
Oh, is that right?
Yep,
If you could start it from the dirt part there.
yep. So I'm blaming it on sunspots.
I think it was Ron Faulkner's post from his place.
Probably was, probably was.
I would have blamed him, but he has no controller up here. No, not controlling it.
It should start, if you started at the dirt part,
That's your horses, Bill? That's your bale of hay, though, you're looking for.
Somewhere else.
a little higher.
There it is. Dirt.
Or the one above it, maybe. There. That's gonna show the whole county slide.
You had to start at dirt.
You're hitting from beginning or from current slide?
Wasn't that wrong, the county one?
I don't think the meter goes
Try again.
Yay!
When I was initially interested in farming, I had no idea where I wanted to farm. I grew up in the city, just kind of became interested in environmental issues and sustainable agriculture. I did an internship on a farm and just really loved the lifestyle, loved the work, so decided that that was what I wanted to do and eventually ended up here. I run a certified organic farm. We grow about 50 different types of vegetables and fruit and herbs. And we also raise some pastured livestock. So we raise pigs, cows, chickens, and some honeybees. Food is something that everyone has in common. You know, everybody eats, so it's a good way to make a difference. So to grow food locally is a pretty unique opportunity. And then economically speaking, it's also become one of the only ways to make a living farming is if you can sell it directly to the people that are eating it. There's great agricultural land around Minto. It's a big center for farming. There's lots of cash cropping and dairy farms and things around here, but the soil is great. That's probably initially what attracted me, but now that I'm here, I'm learning there's lots of wild areas and green space to take advantage of. I like cross-country skiing and hiking with my dogs. There's a lot more that goes on than I initially gave a small town like Minto credit for. There's lots of people in the town that work to make it a great place to live. We've got some really, really great staff that really go above and beyond the call of duty in terms of promoting the town and making things happen. I think that, in a lot of cases, is what sets us apart from other small towns.
It keeps going.
Oh, it tastes real.
We need to work a little bit. Oh,
Whoa. When are you going down with, huh?
yeah.
Very good. Anything else, Ron?
No, and I just, other than the fact, takes about 1,250 volunteers to put this international plowing match on, and we've had 2 volunteer sign-up days, and we'll be putting on a couple more this year, and hopefully that'll get us up to our capacity that we need. It's a total volunteer effort, right up to the chair, and we need everybody's cooperation to make this a successful match. It's going to be a huge economic boost, I think, to the town of Minto and to the county of Wellington. And just look forward to working with everybody, and please come out and volunteer, and we'll try and make it as fun as possible. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ron. Anybody any questions for Ron? Ongoing basis? Keep her on? Excellent. Public question period. Yeah. Want to come up to the mic there? That's good.
First, I'd actually like to extend a thank you to Rhonda for making a bridge that it was City White that was put on all my questions on YouTube. And it's extremely prompt and extremely... Test. Okay.
There you go.
It was extremely prompt and extremely thorough, so if it's agreeable and if that's a good medium for asking further questions rather than taking up a lot of time here, is that something that can continue?
Sure.
Okay.
And I maybe, did you share that with the rest of the council? We haven't chatted this.
Well, Mayor Bridge, that's the beauty, if I may, through you, the questions are on YouTube.
Yep.
So it's shared with the world.
That's good. I'm not on
I
YouTube
did
a
not
lot.
specifically,
That's
if you'd like me to email them answers, but I would,
no, that's fine. If that's how you want to do it, that's
maybe
good.
what I could do is say that there have been questions asked and they're posted on YouTube.
Perfect.
But if you take a peek at any one of the videos, then they'll show up at the bottom.
Perfect. Okay.
A second question I had was just in terms of, those are rather quick questions about specific topics. How should one pose a larger scoping question that may have examples presented with it, rather than just bring it up here now? And I don't know how much time is allocated for question period now, and I certainly don't want to kind of drag on or stall the meeting as it progresses. How can those larger scoping questions be directed to council?
How would you like them, Phil?
My suggestion, if I may, Mayor Bridge, would be that the question just get asked here, and then we may or not be able to respond to it. And so then the answer would come back at the next meeting.
Yeah. The difference, I guess, when we started the question period, there's 2 ways to address council. You can address council via delegation, which you give us a sort of a week's notice, and we'll get you on the agenda. And usually with the delegation, they like to usually send something to us just to sort of what the delegation's about, so that if there is an ability for us to sort of get your answers beforehand, then we can deal with them. When public question period, there's a good chance that if it has to go back to staff for further to explore it or whatever, then we'll have to do that. So sometimes if you ask a question directly to, especially if it's a larger question with not a yes or no answer, we may have to take some time to get back to you. So it's either way. I mean, the YouTube works, but if you have something that's in more depth, if it was something like that, maybe a delegation or just let us know.
Are you open to presenting delegations? Because I would like to prepare something rather than put people on the spot. I would like to prepare something that could be reviewed.
I would think I'm talking for the council here maybe, but I like a delegation only in the sense that we get a little bit of a heads up so that we can look at it, and if there's staff need to research some of it or whatever, then we can certainly deal with it at that point. It's a little bit better than if you ask it tonight. We may be another week or be another council before we can deal with it.
Perfect.
The other alternative, if it's a budget-related question, there is the open house, so.
Yeah.
Yes, which I will be attending. This one's not budget related, but I do plan on attending the open house to ask any budget related questions.
Yeah, that's, I'm glad.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of sending delegation, get in contact with
Yep,
CEO
Bill, and then you can sort of, CEO White, and then you can sort of let him know, and he may direct you either to council, or he might direct you to, if it's a economic development question or whatever, maybe to the economic development committee. If it's a recreation question, it might go to prac, where you have more time to discuss it as well, you know, so depending, I mean, well, and it's up to the person that's making the delegation to decide how they want to approach it. Fair enough.
I believe there's a time frame for you to ask to be on a delegation.
Well, no, it is a week ahead, so
Week ahead, and then you're allocated how long in
10 minutes.
10 minutes with the, on behalf of the mayor, I think I have another 5 that I'm allowed to extend it, depending. Okay? Yeah.
Perfect.
All right?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. And we're correspondence.
Mayor Bridge, if I may, one of the correspondence relates to Raise the Flag campaign for Autism Ontario. April 2nd marks a historic day in Canada for the autism community. It's the 3rd year that Canadians officially recognize World Autism Day. So there is a resolution that the mayor is asked to read, and by participating in the Raise the Flag campaign, we are increasing awareness about autism spectrum disorder and the day-to-day issues faced by people with autism and their families.
We'll continue. I, George Bridge, of the town of Minto, do hereby proclaim April 2nd as World Autism Awareness Day. Whereas World Autism Awareness Day will be recognized on April 2nd, 2015 in Canada, thanks to the Liberal Senators Jim Munson's Bill S-206 and an act respecting World Autism Awareness Day. And whereas autism spectrum disorder affects more than 100,000 Ontarians, autism spectrum disorder is now recognized as the most common neurological disorder affecting 1 of every 94 children, as well as their friends, family, and community. And whereas ASD is a spectrum disorder, which means it does not only manifest itself differently in every individual in whom it appears, but its characteristics will change over the life of each individual as well. A child with ASD will become an adult with ASD. And whereas Autism Ontario, formerly Autism Society Ontario, is leading source of information referral on autism and one of the largest collective voices representing the autism community. Since 1973, Autism Ontario has been providing support, information, opportunities for thousands of families across the province. And whereas Autism Ontario is dedicated to increasing public awareness about autism and the day-to-day issues faced by individuals with autism, their families, and professionals with whom they interact. And the association and chapters share common goals of providing information, education, supporting research, and advocating programs for the service of autism community. And therefore, I, George Bridge, do hereby declare April 2nd as World Autism Awareness Day. And the nice thing is we can actually put the flag up. Now we have new flag poles, so we can actually do that. You have the flag?
It's not really an outdoor flag, Mayor Bridge, but we will display it in the office.
Okay, we'll display it in the office, okay. All right. Motion to, you want to vote on that? Motion moved by Jean, second by Mary Lou. All in favor? Very good. Excellent. Any other correspondence? Anybody have any questions? Motion to accept. Councilor Elliott, Deputy Mayor Faulkner, all in favor? Carried. Committee minutes for approval. None. Staff reports. Clerk assistant, special events policy bylaw. Are you doing that one? Or is Peggy doing? Oh, did I get the minutes?
You get a vote.
You get a vote. Yep.
Did you vote? Did you do that?
Yeah, we did it, yeah. Well, the Saugeen Grave, oh, that's afterwards, committee minutes for receipt. We voted on the correspondence. You're right, Peggy, I don't think we have one in the minutes, yeah. The minutes of the Saugeen Gray Sabo North Bruce for Drinking Water Service Production Committee of December 19, 2014. Moved by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, second by Councilor Dirksen. All in favor? Approved. Okay. Okay, where are we? No, clerk's
Staff report.
staff reports. Peggy's doing this one? Okay, Peggy.
Good evening, Council.
Peggy?
Okay, so the special events, this came to you in January, and so after that meeting, I created the policy and sent it out to all the organizations that ran special events, as so the feedback that we got back from those groups, there was 3 groups that provided feedback back, which is in the background part of the report, that have been added to the policy and to the process for the special events permit application. Your draft bylaw, Schedule B and C, has been amended since it was sent to you on Friday. There was the date for the fall fair parades was incorrect, so that has been amended. And so the process with this bylaw and schedules will be that in the case where a date or a time has to be amended, the organization will still need to complete the application and submit it 60 days prior. They will still be required to give us the proof of insurance. That is still part of the process. And if there's any changes to date and time, then we will need to amend the resolution. Otherwise, the bylaw and the schedules will go as they are. Anybody have any questions about that?
Just my only point is I don't want, complacency is a dangerous thing, and I just want to make sure that there still has to be communication between us and the groups. I think that's imperative.
Should you pass this bylaw tonight, a copy of the bylaw, the application, and the policy will go to every organization, and with a letter stating that they'll still be required to complete the application and submit it 60 days prior to their event. They'll still need to include the insurance, proof of insurance, and if it's a road tool, they'll also need to give us a list of the individuals that are participating. As well, one suggestion was to have maps on the website, so that way they can print them off, and so that they can give us the site plan as well, or the route of the parade, that be submitted with the application as well. So we're just trying to streamline it, make it easier for groups, but also make sure that they have all their documents in place and
And it just
submitted
means
to
it
us.
doesn't have to come to council.
That's right.
And in that way, it doesn't have to come to council every
Staff
time.
staff approve it.
But it
they
still
submit.
needs to be,
I got
it still
no
needs
issue
to
with
be
that.
submitted.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep. Motion to accept?
So,
That's right.
yep, that's good, yep.
Councillor Elliott, second by Councillor Anderson, all in favor? Good. I think it really streamlines the process.
Yeah,
We still have
that's
to do all the paperwork, but we don't have to worry about last minute coming back to council.
Sorry.
Well, the movers were,
Movies were.
Ron Elliott and
You got
Jean
that?
Anderson.
and closed meeting policy.
No, investigator.
Meeting policy investigator, yes.
So
Closed meeting
this is,
investigator.
again, just coming back to the council, the County of Wellington passed a bylaw, I believe, beginning of this year or I guess November of 2014. And so we've just updated our policy to include the updated information. And with this policy will go on the town website as well with a link, so that the Schedule A to this policy, which is the complaint form that people can download, print, and fill out if they so choose to. So it's just information back to council with the updates for the town mental policy.
Any questions? Mover? Councillor Anderson? Councillor Caldwell? All in favor? Gotta get moving. Help me with this.
Oh, okay.
And next, CEO clerk, proposed servicing agreement for J.J. Metzger, George Street, Seventh.
Thank you, Mayor Bridget. I don't believe we actually gave you a copy of the agreement, but I think there's a pretty good summary in the report. It's a similar agreement that we've signed with others in a situation like that. I think unfortunately the one schedule that relates to the servicing got stuck in amongst the insurance stuff.
Oh,
But in any event, I'll just go through it. If there's any questions or if there's any concern that you'd like to see the agreement, we can certainly bring it back next meeting. This severance was approved by the County of Wellington, I guess last year at some point. Our conditions relate to the financial aspects of servicing the lots and around entrances and future development of the lands. I think the map on page 2 of the report kind of shows it best. The 5 lots that were created under the severance are the yellow lots, kind of on the, I'll call it southeast side of the property, I guess. There's 6 lots that were created when we sold the property. Those are 1 through 6. So the lots we're dealing with today are the yellow ones that are right in front of where the senior school used to be. Back in July of 2013, there was an overriding servicing agreement signed that required the senior school to be down by December of last year, which it was, and set in place some form of servicing arrangement that would see these builders, developers pay a share of the reconstruction of George Street, including the paving and the lateral services that were installed. So the total cost of that work, as estimated by using actual figures, was $71,373.93. So the way we've proposed in this new agreement was to have them pay for the 3 homes that are developed, which would see them pay just over $17,840 now, and then as each lot is developed, they would pay $5,947 per lot. So that was nice to see a contribution to the servicing of the lands there. In the financial consideration section of the report, I note that along the entire frontage, if they're paying $71,000 plus, they're looking at about a $360 a meter charge. If we were doing an infill severance there, they would be paying $250 a meter. So I think the contribution that they're making to the redevelopment of the street is a fair contribution. In addition to those costs, of course, they had to take the school down, and they'll have to pay the cost of extending services into the future seniors block that you see, and then through the subdivision process, extending the services on Lawrence Street all the way to William Street. And then under our agreement with them, the town would extend the sewer and water up William Street from George Street. So that's the way the financial arrangement was made for that property. So it's a combination of trying to spur on redevelopment of the site and making sure that there's fair return paid back to the municipality and to the water users for use of these services. So we're recommending that in order to fulfill the conditions for the 5 yellow lots, that a bylaw be considered in open session authorizing the severance agreement, which they have signed and which can be seen if you'd like through email or some other form of communication if you're concerned about the detail. But the comment section, the 8 points under there more or less summarizes what's in the agreement. That agreement would be placed on title for the lands and would be there for any future owners and would bind them.
Questions for? Well spelled out. Motion to accept. Deputy Mayor Faulkner. Councillor Elliott, all in favor? Good. Nice to see development.
Nicely done, CO White.
Okay. Next. Another one for you, Bill.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. I'll try and be brief because everyone has a copy of the business case study for the perhaps new to be formed Town of Minto Municipal Corporation. There was some passing mention in budget about discussions that had been ongoing between the Hairston Lions and the Town of Minto regarding the clinic at the corner of Arthur Street and John Street in Hairston. They've had a clinic at that location now for over 30 years, so it's actually the first correction in paragraph 1, page 2 of your report. It said over 20, which it is truly over 20, but it's actually over 30.
40, right?
And I'm guessing in around 1978, but some of you around here
That'd be pretty close.
for sure the exact date. Bev was pretty sure that was the date, Manser, when speaking to her. Finally, just before Christmas, the Lions president came in and spoke to us again about reinvigorating this discussion. I think the Lions have worked hard to move this building into a positive net financial position. They would like to see it carry on with some legacy interests for them. And so we instructed our lawyer to begin that work to fulfill their request that we look at this. All the time, of course, reports would have to come back to council in open session about how we might end up acquiring these properties and what that would mean for the town. During the course of those discussions, the solicitor came upon the idea of assuming the Harrison Lions nonprofit corporation that runs the clinic as a means to more efficiently and effectively transfer the interest to the town, and because there are potential long-term benefits of having a municipal corporation here in the municipality. We go into that at length. The ability to have a corporation, excuse me, is set out in the Municipal Act, and there are conditions in there that allow us to do that. Under the Municipal Act, we would be required to consult with the public about doing that, so if council is interested in proceeding, then we would be setting a public consultation in place sometime in April, and then assuming at the end of that consultation you still felt inclined to move forward in that direction, then we would move ahead with the Lions to assume the corporation and take over the operation of that clinic sometime, I would think, in April, early May. Just by way of the background, this property is about 0.65 acres in size, so there's some site plans on there. The property is assessed at about $227,000, and under their financial statements, they're showing that it is in a net positive position. There are two written leases, one with Dr. Van Sickle and one with Dr. Doyen Oyalowo, and they expire in 2017 and 2020. And speaking with Bev Manser, and it's our understanding that they would likely extend, or they're not certainly showing any interest in relocating. There is a slight risk that if they don't, we would be wanting to find new tenants at some point after those dates, but there's no indication that's going to happen. In 2011, 2012, we did have staff through the building. We would propose to do that again through the public consultation, just to have another look, but you know, for all indications were, I mean, it's a pretty good building for its age, and so there are some risks with a property like that, but you know, we are fairly good at maintaining our properties, and obviously there would be some revenue from this that would help us do that. When speaking to the board, there are 4 conditions, and they're outlined in page 4 of the report. The first is that we make certain donations to the food bank, the Legion, and the hospital, and I don't think there's any issue with continuing that. That would come out of the revenues to the corporation from the clinic. The second is there are a couple of the local people who help maintain the property. They'd like us to continue with those people. The third would be keeping the building primarily as medical uses. We're great with that so long as there are medical tenants to be found. We will have to iron out specific details. I mean, future councils beyond 2020 I may want to get into other uses, so I think we would have an opportunity as a corporation to extend that to medical related uses, public uses that may be related to town and that sort of thing, and maybe put a time limit on. But that has to be specified. The question, Mayor Bridge.
For you, Mayor Bridge, that was my question. Would we be able to put a time limit on all of these, not just the medical use, but all of the conditions that they put on, even if it was like ideally maybe this council's term? Would that be a possibility?
If I may answer that, I think we should have some discussion with the Lions about that as to time. I think that they would be amenable to some form of time. And I don't have a length that, I have not spoken to them about a time, but I have said that I think council would like some flexibility in the future in case there weren't medical tenants to be found. But so the answer is yes, the corporation would be able to make decisions on time and leasing as it sees fit. So it's only, it would be able to make its own decisions that way. Now the corporation, as it would be structured, would essentially be reporting to you as council. So, but I think we would want to have something in writing that's fair so that it's clear to everyone how long that we're going to maintain these things. You know, with people who are doing work, and I'm sure they're doing a great job, but if something happens and we need to find someone else, then we should be able to do that.
Yeah,
And as far as making donations and things like this, there may be situations
we may enter into the fact as long as there's a surplus on if you ran into a situation.
You bet.
I mean, they built this into their actual surplus, so.
Right.
And did you mention
They are
the,
reasonable, but it just seems, there's no, is this forever that we have to continue with these
Yeah.
conditions, and that's not really
yeah,
fair.
well, I think we can word that into the thing. And did you mention leaving it in the Lions name? No?
That was the number 4 condition that
Right.
wasn't in the
Wasn't in your
report.
report.
And it would be to retain the name of the clinic as the Harrison Lions Clinic. And this is just a business case. This is,
We haven't gone.
the business case is simply put together to outline the pros and cons of moving in this direction. The technical details, the actual forming of the board and all that will have to come forward to you, including the wording of all that. But I think it was important to recognize those as restrictions or risks or whatever you want to call them.
There were requests from the Lions, and the last one being the Lions name, I think that one was sort of because if you go back to 1978, a lot of the money that built that property was the Lions Club did it, so the historical
Absolutely.
factor of, recognizing that people put money in, volunteered, and they raised money to the Lions to make this happen. Those are types of things, but again, it's a business case, not necessarily the final document, but
Right.
I wanted to have that in there because we did talk about that. That was one of the major issues. I have no problem with that.
Now, if I may, Mayor, Burge, and Council, the strategic plan section, there are a number of initiatives that relate to forming a corporation and supporting the healthcare needs of the community. I won't go through those, you can read them, but I think the key things are at the bottom of the paragraph in page 5. Community development initiatives, public consultation, innovation, commitment to healthcare. I think those are all things that come out of our strategic directions. So I think proceeding down that road is consistent with that plan. The purpose of the business case is set out there to provide the mandate, guiding principles, structure, and objectives of the corporation, to identify its relationship to the town, including reporting to council, to satisfy the requirements of the Municipal Act to have a business case, and in the future consider increasing the mandate to include an economic development corporation. So the priority, of course, is to move forward with this transaction. The expansion into an economic development corporation would be something for the future, I believe.
Just in relation to that, if I might, Mayor Bridge, in the past, the tenets of that have been done, recruited by the recruitment committee from the branch of the board of
Dr. Recruitment.
Dr. Recruitment. Thank you.
Ableton, you're on that.
Yes, I am on that. And so I'm just wondering that we would continue with that cooperation to make sure that we try and have medical people come into that clinic.
If I may, I think that would be essential. They are actually leasing space in that building now on a year-to-year basis. The challenge will be when they do build their new family health team location is
Keep somebody there.
I don't think there's any indication they would move, but they're going to attract certain tenants there too. So I think we want to remain complementary to each other.
Correct. Thank you.
So the guiding principles of the corporation is to be, will be consistent with the overall town values, including transparency, efficiency, community engagement, consistency, proper relations with private business. And there's a series of objectives there that relate to assuming the clinic and running the clinic properly, and then looking at economic development corporations where viable and advisable, showing leadership and collaboration. So quite a few value statements in there. Just a word on a business case. There isn't a formula for a business case for a municipal corporation that I could find, so we've just prepared this to try and give some guidance. And speaking to the lawyer, he said it's whatever business case council wants to put forward, but you do have to have one. So right now the membership is proposed to be the mayor, CAO, clerk, and treasurer. This will allow us to move forward. We'll join the board. Then if it's council's wish, we would work with that board. We would form certain bylaws and so forth And then the current board could resign and that board could carry on. It's kind of as simple as that. A word briefly about alternatives. We could still buy the land if we go through the public consultation process and there's some series of objections to that. We could always buy the land and operate it as a town function. We're not mandated to do it as a corporation or take over that. So if the Lions Club happened to find another club that wanted to run it or assume the operation, they could pursue that, but I believe that that is what, been talked about for 4 years now. So they have, they believe in their best interest is to have the town in some form take over it. And speaking to Bev today and earlier on, she has no issues with the transfer occurring through the corporation route if that's the way we choose to go. The other alternative is to sell the assets, the club to sell it and hope that a purchaser kept it in the community. And the other final alternative maybe would to try and pursue a membership drive. If during the public consultation period some sort of membership drive resurrects the Lions in Harrison, then I guess we would have to consider that before proceeding. But at this point, the way it looks, based on all the hard work they've done, I think the board has brought it to the position where they're comfortable transferring it to the town. I think they've worked hard to get it to that point. And our recommendation is that we proceed according to this business case to inform the public and obtain any comments moving forward. Questions?
Except
You have a question over there.
oh, sorry, Ron.
Are there Lions Clubs still a chartered Lions Club? Are they, the charter, do you know any of that facts? Can we, the reason I'm asking that is would they not have to keep their charter until such time we finish this, or can we deal with, once they lose their charter, then?
There's two separate.
That,
Yeah.
what would that be, the board, like, the board's
The way I understand it, Ron, is that there's the Lions Charter, but there's also, this is a separate from the Lions, like, this is a board that the Lions, they have to have 3 Lions members on this. It's a separate board that we're taking over, not the Lions part. We're taking over just this.
I understand that. That isn't one of, that's not the question. I'd just be afraid if they gave up their charter before we've completed our business, we should be doing business with a chartered Lions Club.
Well, I think.
That's, I'm afraid of.
Go ahead, Bill.
If I could answer that, I guess the short answer is I don't know what their status is as far as their Lions charter goes, but the lawyer will be advising us as we go through this, and he has asked for certain information on the club and its minutes and its financial statements to assist him in proceeding with this, so he will make sure that whatever has to happen will happen as far as that goes.
Okay, I just know that.
I think we've advised them to keep their charter for
Yeah,
now.
I would think that would be the case, because you'd want to be dealing with a chartered Lions Club, because
Correct.
that part of their, I think part of their business plan is to be part of the group, but if they have no Lions Club, they can't appoint anybody.
See, the Harrison Lions Community Medical Center Corporation, but you're right, Ron, if the Lions isn't there, then this
They have no
isn't there.
Lions
Well, I
Club.
don't know if this gets
So-
forward.
That was the statement we were
Just make sure we
given.
don't get caught.
Yep.
Or they don't get caught. I hate them be in a position where they have nothing really to
Yeah.
give because they're not a charter group anymore. For their safety.
Well, I think we'll let the lawyers,
Okay, great. Thanks. Might be a question to ask.
It has been. We did ask that.
Oh, did you?
yeah, we told them we thought they should keep their charter.
Until.
And we were told they would keep the charter.
Okay, that's fine.
Motion, accept the recommendation, Councilor Caldwell, Deputy Mayor Walker, all in favor? I think it's a great move forward, and we'll move from there.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. If you're looking for your cost-sharing breakdown in the George Street, it was actually at the end of the financial statement.
There you are, I thought it was there, I thought I saw it.
Sorry.
Okay, very good, moving on.
Last item for myself, Mayor Bridge, is the Palmerston Industrial Park street naming update. Leave it to Councillor Turton to, at the end of our debate last meeting, to say maybe we should check with the Legion one more time, which we did. And there is information attached with their preferences. So we have prepared the bylaw based on the Legion's preferences. Frank Lambier Court.
I guess they had it sitting there ready to, but nobody sent it to us. I was told
Apparently.
by the Legion. And they saw it in the paper. But it was done, like, and I think when reading the article and talking to the Legion, I mean, they did the right thing. They went out, had a ballot and went out there. I think they did the democratic process, which we were asking them to do. But I think I'm supportive of the fact that unfortunately it makes us look a little silly.
Others like a duck, you can handle it.
Yeah.
Have we got a second street?
Oh, well, we got
We have
names
four
now.
names.
Well, the nice thing is we got
Yeah.
names going forward, so
Yeah.
we won't follow this again,
Yeah,
hopefully.
that's right.
Questions?
You just wonder when we had all that previous discussion, and I haven't been part of the discussions with the Legion, but you wonder if there's any chance. And I know our policy extended the parameters in order to accommodate his name, but if he was thought well enough of in the historian, is there any consideration to adding him to the list? So at least he has a chance
I
of
think he should be added to
coming
the
up on the
list.
next naming opportunity, because they were tardy getting back to us, or it appeared to be to us, so we moved forward because there's some pressure to do that. But this other gentleman I don't know if his family has any notion how far that had gone.
I don't think there's a lot of his family around because it was a Boer
Right.
War. That was sort of,
Yep.
like, we asked Chad for a recommendation and he brought that one
I
forward.
just wonder if there could be any consideration to adding his name to the list, because we got so far in the deliberations, rather than just leaving it out swinging there when we've gotten that far.
I actually think that's a great idea, because I really like the other name, but not
Yes.
anything against Mr. Lambier, who, as far as I know, is one of our most decorated veterans.
Right.
But to add to the list, I think is a fair request of council, and if you added that to the motion,
Sure.
if it was the wish of council.
Where do you want to put it on the list?
I would say after number 4, I guess.
Yeah,
Right.
okay. I would
But if
do
you-
that.
If you take off, we leave the list with 4 and say, could we respectfully request to add his name to
Yep.
the list? And it might not be the next one coming up, but at least it's there for
Yeah,
consideration.
I would add it to the list and put it at, it'll be if we have 4 more streets, it'll be the next
Right.
one.
Just a question. Do you know the history of Chick
Court?
Court?
That's my question.
And
No idea.
if I analyze this correctly, I believe it refers to a nickname, Chick.
We can maybe ask for more clarification.
Yeah, and if it is who I think it is, and it's a nickname, then I would not be in favor of naming something Chick Court.
Well, I think, go ahead.
And if I could speak, that was part of my point with the first one, that we use the gentleman's full name rather than the last name, because the last name could refer to anybody, especially names like King or Ross or Jones. If we're honoring a certain individual for their participation in the war, or their volunteering or their service to the country, then I think they deserve to have their full name acknowledged, so there's no question ever about who the gentleman or woman is that we're referring to. If we're conferring that honor to them, let's make it clear that it's an honor to them and their full name. And I agree, Chick Court would not
We
necessarily.
need clarification on that.
I think so.
Yeah, and it's 4th down the list, so maybe we'll ask for a little bit of a history of them. I think we all know Frank's history. I mean,
Right.
so,
Yes.
I mean, as you say,
And it's clear, that's his name. You'd be able to look it up and find out, but Chick Court, you might have to do some digging to find out who that actually refers to.
yeah, we can, yeah, and that's down the road, because we do a road maybe very seldom, if ever, but we will.
But our economic development's booming, so you just
I
never
know,
know.
I know, they're building roads everywhere. Anyways, but that's a good point, and I guess we can go back to them, but right now, we're just gonna, the recommendation is to approve Frank.
Yeah, but Mayor Bridge, if I may, if you wanted to add that we get clarification around the
Yep.
final name.
And
they
put the
add-
other one on the bottom.
We will do that.
Yep,
That'd be
I would- I would like
Arthur
to make a
Ross?
motion to
yeah, Arthur Ross.
that. Right.
Yep. No, it's Arthur Ross, they got
No,
Court.
they had originally
They
the
discussed
middle
it,
name, but
Yeah.
we
Too
just
long.
said Arthur
Talked about
Ross.
initials and we came up with Arthur Ross Court.
Yep, okay. But we want to get this
Need a
done
motion?
tonight, yes, motion.
Please? I'll make the motion.
Council Anderson, second by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, all in favor. There's people in the need of a road name.
Gotta get that road.
Okay,
Okay.
Already have mine.
yeah, all right. I'll turn it over to Councillor Caldwell for the,
Yes. And the Finance Committee has 2 items on the agenda tonight. The first one, the treasurer will present the 2014 council remuneration.
Okay, thank you, Chair Caldwell. So this is again based on 12 months. The 12 months run from December 1st, 2013 to November 30th, 2014. So it's close to our fiscal, but not quite. So in our total figures for this year, as defined for council expenses, it's 128,377. Just as a matter of reference, for 2013, for the same period, it was 135,475, and well below the budgeted net was 144, but expenses were 156. So we certainly had a more economical year this year. And anyone has any questions or?
Just further clarification, with the new structure that we have come up with,
That's
we
right.
expect these expenses to go down even more in 2015.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Yes, it is. I think we, CEO Clerk and I, kind of made an estimate, even if you went to all the conferences allowed and everything, it would still be a slightly lower amount.
Even with our 33%.
Yeah, even with a 33% rate.
Well, it goes back to just clarification of how we do things, right?
More
So
inclusive nature of
the idea was to make it a little bit easier to,
So if that's the case, our raise could be retroactive. Just kidding.
Budget's not yet passed.
no, I think everybody's pretty responsible in 2014. As you can see, Rick wasn't around a lot, so he wasn't there much, but that would, even if he would have been as the normal average of 16, we'd still be 10 under.
Yeah, you'd be
144.
similar to
Yeah,
2013.
normally he would have been, but
Yeah,
he was away a lot last year.
it's true.
Okay.
Are there any questions of Treasurer Doug? Okay, the recommendation is that the council of the town of Minto accept this report for information. May I have someone make that motion, please? Councillor Anderson, seconded by Councillor Elliott, all in favor? And the motion is passed. And the second item on the agenda is the approval of accounts.
That's right. This was a fairly light check run, 288,000.
Ooh.
Just wait till next time, we'll be back in millions. We got the county and the school board.
Yeah.
That's one.
Yeah, exactly. So there's I guess a couple of highlights as we printed the community guide. That's about 3,700. We did some work on the 16th line and the radio system and the trucks for about 1,600. And this time of year, we're paying the January salt and sand bill, which is about $50,000. So we still have that much. And I think we've got to the root of the matter at, I believe it's the Palmerston well there. So we had about another $11,000 in pump repairs and all that well initiative. So I think we had a motor burnout and everything's fixed now, I think. So anyway,
Are there any questions? Okay, then the recommendation is the council of the town of Minto receives the treasurer's report dated March 10th, 2015 regarding approval of accounts and approves the town of Minto's accounts by department for March 2015. Could I have someone make that motion, please? Councillor Dirksen, seconded by Mayor Bridge. All in favor?
I gave him a nod. It was like I'm bidding. I was at an auction.
see what you're gonna buy. All right, thank
That's
you.
how I bought things at auctions, but I never thought I'd buy them,
Nod in your head.
just by accident. Okay, Brian.
And I turn the chair back to Mayor Bridge.
And I'll assume it for Councilor Turton, who's been at a wedding.
World of water.
Daughter's wedding, I believe.
Done.
Son,
Well, daughter-in-law's.
Brooks,
Daughter-in-law's wedding, then. Let me correct that.
you were better with the son.
Okay, good stuff. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you. Through your Mayor Bridge, both my reports are for information purposes. First of all, World Water Day, which is marked on March 22nd every year. It's a day to celebrate water. In 2015, the theme for Water World Day is Waters and Sustainable Development. It's about how water links to all areas. We need to consider creating the future we want. So for anybody wishing to partake in the celebration, there's a soup and sandwich lunch will be put on by St. Paul's Anglican Church at 310 James Street, Palmerston on March 20th.
Saturday?
That's Friday.
from, yeah,
That's
Friday.
Friday, shoot.
Friday at lunch.
From 11 to 1.
It's the-
All
Yeah, that's
donations-
Doty
Doty
Reed's,
Reed.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All donations in support of water aids projects in Eastern Africa. So if you want to mark that on your calendar,
Yeah, I'll be there.
any questions on that or
Mayor Bridge, you should see, if you haven't already, there'll be ads
in the paper?
in the newspapers.
Right.
During World Water Day.
Yep. Motion to accept the report. Counselor Anderson, Caldwell, all in favor? Thank you. Unfortunately, I won't be there on Friday, but the deputy mayor says he's gonna be there.
We'll have extra sandwiches
I'll
for
send you
them.
some money along.
Yeah. Are there any speeches? No.
Any speeches?
No, I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Good.
Unless you want to make one?
I'll be there for soup.
There for soup. Get it on your tie.
That's right. Guaranteed.
My second report is the drinking water system's annual and summary reports, which are held every year. The annual reports are made available to the public on February 28th of each year, and the summary reports are to be completed by March 31st of each year. You can read them on the town website. You just go and click under the water reports and information, link under departments, and you'll find the 2014 reports there. As due diligence under the standard of care document, each member of council should review these reports prior to signing off on March 17th, which is today, and the binder, I think, is up
Here.
yeah. You are to individually read and approve the annual and summary reports for each drinking water system. Endorsement by council acknowledge that this has been completed. And if you have any questions, you can call Daryl Bueller, our compliance coordinator, and go ahead.
Just, Brian, we did email these reports out like a month or two ago, and then Daryl Date gave presentations, so those
That's
are
correct.
the
Yep.
same reports, right?
Yep,
Okay, and then you can also see them on the website.
yep. So the recommendation that council of Town of Minto approve the 2014 annual and summary reports for the Town of Minto drinking water systems, including Clifford Drinking Water System, Harrison Drinking Water System, and the Palmerston Drinking Water System, and also the Minto Pines Subdivision Drinking Water System. Questions?
Counselor Anderson, or motion to approve. Any questions? No? Motion, Counselor Anderson, Counselor Elliott, all in favor? You give us a great opportunity. Like, Daryl's really good about giving us lots of information about water.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'll mention the taps.
Oh, the taps, are we still
Yes.
keeping taps on?
Don't
Yes,
leave so soon.
taps- Yeah, do not shut your taps off until you hear further
Okay.
from our department.
Good.
Yeah,
All right.
for sure.
What, do you know, just said it while I got you here, Brian, how many people are without water? We got any without water?
40, no, they all
They
have
all-
water.
okay.
Yeah, we put temporary lines in, but we're up to 46, I think.
46.
And this should be everyone in all of the urban centers, all
That's
three urban
correct,
centers?
yes.
Everyone.
Yes, yep.
Even though you've never had it happen before, because we had people say, well, it never happened, and now it's happened, so you gotta keep it
Yeah,
going.
we've had quite a few this.
I know I'm keeping mine running.
Yeah. That froze up, that never have froze
Yeah.
before, so, yeah.
Never froze up.
And the problem is, people think once it gets warm, but it actually, the frost drives down
Farther.
farther when you get warm.
Yeah.
So, just because you have a warm spell.
Yeah, what it does, it melts underneath the surface and then
Yeah.
freezes up and expands again.
And
pushes
that's when it
further.
goes down the next foot and you're done. Even though it's nice out. Okay, we'll try to get that message out. Is it on our website, I assume?
Yes, it
Okay.
is, yeah.
Okay. Maybe the press can make sure that
Yeah, definitely, that'd be a
keep them,
bonus,
if
sure.
they could, let them know.
They're probably getting it from all angles anyway,
Yeah.
so. There you go.
Mine too. Alrighty, thank you. Other business as disclosed additional items, and Ron, you had a quick one? Was it?
I do. Just want to mention, we have 3 bands coming to the Party of the Park. So I want to announce that tonight, that we're moving forward with it. It's going to be 3 full sets. So probably an hour and a half each set. We're hope to start the evening around 6. So all this information will be coming out very shortly. We want to get the bands booked. The first band we're announcing is Big Wheels, which is a local group. based out of our whole area here. There's, if, Luke Hartung is part of that group. And Becky Litt is part of that.
Becky
Who
does
else
a good
is-
job singing.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter. Those
What's
are
the
two.
date? Sometimes sings with them.
Those are,
Becky Litt,
Becky Litt,
sometimes.
sometimes she sings with them.
And what's
Those are
the
two
date of
local
that one?
people. And we have, Brothers from Another Mother. The Brothers from Another Mother. Okay. They just changed their name, because reason they have that, there's two brothers, there's the Moore brothers and the Jones brothers out of Drayton area.
Yeah, yeah.
Related to us, probably.
Yeah, not no Moore.
Those Moores.
Garrick Moore is the leader of the band, so it's another local band that are really good. And our next band that we booked is for the final finale of the evening is Lulu's Roadhouse. It's been popular for many, many years, and have a lot of following, so we're really looking forward. It's basically, well, it is a classic rock theme this year. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun for everybody of all ages. As a matter of fact, I was talking to my grandson, and when I mentioned Derek Moore, and he said, "Oh yeah," he says, "they're really good." When is that? He said. So
When is it?
When is
it's
it?
June 27th. As I'm saying that, and we'll be starting in around 6 o'clock. But not only that, all that day is going to be quite a day for the park in Palmerston. We have the splash bash that we put on. It's all free that the Lions put on. The mayor usually helps us with the hamburgers and hot dogs, and I'm sure you're planning on attending again this year and being part of that. The pool's open, everything's open that we have in the park. Farmers Market is going to be that morning too, so that's always available, and it's something they always keep an eye. I think there's a strawberry shortcake luncheon that
We always
day
go to
too
that
over
one.
there, so. It's an all-day event, it's gonna be all something for all the kids. Now, the party in the park will be fenced off, and that'll be a paid event. All the rest, you just sort of attend, and if there's any, I know the splash bass is all free, but, strawberry, you may,
Pay for it.
you have to pay a little bit to help fundraise for that too. And the farmer's market is always fun. It'll be a great day. I'm really looking forward, and I was really glad to get the opportunity, and I spent more than 30 seconds.
You did, but that's all right, Ron, it's good stuff.
And Ron's also music chair for the
Yes, I am.
IPM, so
Oh, now
We
we
might be
know the
keeping
Dig Friday.
some of these groups and.
They're charging for advertising time on the IPO. Just too much advertising. Okay, good stuff. Anybody else thought of something? All good? No problem, okay. Motion to move into regular council. Moved by Councilor Anderson, second by Councilor Elliott. The committee of the whole convenes into regular council meeting. All in favor? Carried. Very good. No notices, oh, sorry, notice motion, yeah. Any notices of motion? No?
I noticed there was a bit of motion.
Yeah, moved by Councilor Elliott, second by Councilor Anderson, that the Council of Town of Minto ratifies the motions made in the committee of the whole. All in favor? Carried.
Mayor Bridge, before we proceed into the bylaws, if I would, to say 1 minute on them. The first one relates to an industrial land sale, so Belinda's here.
Oh, yeah.
That is to J&J Construction, Metzger Construction Limited, and that's for a lot in the Palmerston Industrial Park on Frank Lambier Court. So,
You can officially say that?
and if you're paying close attention, not yet, till you pass the bylaw, but if you're paying close attention to our agenda, you'll see that we were discussing more land issues in the Palmerston Industrial Park enclosed. So there's more to come, and Belinda's been actively marketing, as she always is. The second is the land sales to Richard Molinar on Ann Street and the sale to the county. And just a word, we did give notice of those land sales in the newspaper. So theoretically, someone could show up at the meeting, and I don't know that anyone's here to speak to that issue. But if they had come, it would have been the wish of council if they wanted to hear from them on that. But we did give notice as per our disposition of land bylaw that we would be considering these documents. We don't have to do that for industrial land sales, but we do have to for the others. So I don't see anyone here that wants to speak to those, Mayor Bridge, so you could proceed with those bylaws if that's council's wish.
Moved by, agenda item number 16, moved by Councilor Caldwell, second by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, that the bylaw number 2015-24 to authorize the mayor and CEO clerk to sign documents to permit the sale of industrial lands on Minto Road within Palmerston Industrial Park to J.J. Metzger Construction Limited, be introduced and read in first, second, and third time and passed in open council and sealed seal of the corporation. I guess there's something wrong there, Judy? I don't know what they do. Perfect. All in favor? He's giggling over there, I just don't know.
Perfect for you.
Perfect for me, okay.
We were just commenting on the style with which it was delivered.
Oh, the style.
Excellent style.
Excellent style. Council agenda number 16B, Deputy Mayor Faulkner and Councilor Dirksen. Bylaw number 2015-25 to authorize the mayor and the CEO clerk to sign documents to allow the sale of the town-owned lands in Clifford fronting on Ann Street to Rick Molinaire. I got that right? Be introduced and read in first, second, and third time and passed in open council and sealed with seal of the corporation. All in favor? Carried. Okay. Moved by council agenda item number 16C. Moved by Councilor Anderson, second by Councilor Elliott. That bylaw number 2015-26 to authorize the mayor and the CEO clerk to execute documents to permit transfer of the former Norman Street landfill Palmerston to the County of Wellington be introduced and read in first, second, and third time and passed in open council and seal of the corporation. All in favor? Agenda item number 16D, moved by Councilor Dirksen, second by Councilor Caldwell, the bylaw number 2015-27 to open and establish the name of a highway in the Palmerston, name of a highway, I like that, in the Palmerston Industrial Park west of Minto Road as Frank Lambier Court, be introduced and read in first, second, and third time and passed in open council and seal of the corporation. All in favor? Agenda item number 16E, moved by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, second by Councilor Caldwell, that the bylaw number 2015-28 to adopt the use of special event permit policy and temporary road closures to allow charitable organizations to conduct fundraising activities in the town of Minto Roads connecting links and streets be introduced and read in first, second, and third time and passed in open council seal of the corporation. All in favor? Agenda item number 16F, moved by Councilor Dirksen, second by Councilor Anderson, the bylaw number 2015-29 to authorize the mayor and the CEO clerk to execute a severance agreement between the Corporation of Town of Minto and J.J. Metzger Construction for property located on 24 George Street, Harrison, be introduced and read first, second, and third time and passed in open council and sealed with the corporation. All in favor? Moved by agenda item 16G. Moved by Councilor Anderson, second by Councilor Elliott, the bylaw number 2015-30 to confirm the proceedings of the March 17th, 2015 committee council meeting be introduced and read in first and second and third time and passed in open council. Seal of the corporation. All in favor? Carried. Agenda item number 17, moved by Councilor Caldwell, seconded by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, that the council of the town of Minto adjourn to meet again at the call of the mayor. All in favor? Thank you for a good meeting, everybody.